Okay, I'm back. Just got back from voting, and the line to get to show your ID and to register to get your ballot was about 10 minutes. 10 minutes standing before I got up to the booth. And in front of me, approximately 12 people as the line's moving. The line wraps around the door, or wraps to the door, to the corner of the building by the time I got up there to it. But like I said, this is a lot more activity at this polling station than I've ever seen in my 11, 12 years being here. This particular polling station has 16 polling booths. There are 13 stations that you can get behind the screen or behind the partition and cast your ballot. And then there's 3 positions at a desk that they have laid out. Never before have they laid out a desk. And every time in the past when I walked in here, maybe 5 or 6 of those polling booths were occupied. But every one of them were occupied. Even the desk was occupied when I got up there. I had to wait a few minutes to get to a spot where I can safely and privately cast my ballot. Another indicator. On my ballot, there are only 2 Democrats in this county that are running for office. All the rest of the positions that are up for election in this district, the Republican candidate is running unopposed. The jailer and the Senate, one of the Senate, Kentucky Senate, not federal Senate, the Kentucky Senate seat is up for election. And the candidate, I don't want to speak her name, but I really don't know who the candidate is. She never placed signs. The Republican candidate, he littered the place, the whole district, the whole county with his signs. His name, I'm not going to mention his name either for, this is election, trying to keep people's privacy. And then I'm not trying to give free advertisement, but his signs are all over the place. The Democratic candidate, I didn't even know who she was. I still don't know who she is. And she hasn't put a single sign out in this area of the county. Now, it may be around her house or whatever, and I don't know who she is, but there are no signs for the Democratic candidate advertising. Never saw no commercials, never saw any advertising. With that being said, this is a ruby red county. The Republicans on the ballot have this in the hand, have had it in the hand since, 2008. Okay, had it in hand. So any Republican, the turnout is unwarranted for voting for people down ballot. So either they're here to express their vote for the candidates for the presidency, or they're here for Amendment 2. That's the other amendment. Well, there's another amendment to surrender some land to Spencer County, but nevertheless, the turnout is incredible. So it's only those 2 positions, and I seriously doubt Amendment 2 has this number of people, this much activity for this, especially in this ruby red county. So it's got to be either your support or opposition for Trump as president. And I'm telling you, this is a bellwether district when it comes to that. If you see a lot of activity, why? When they already have it in hand, the Republicans, most of them on pretty much every position except for one is running unopposed, except for 2. The jailer for this area, the jailer for this district is their candidate, and he's had his signs out. And I'm in support of the Democratic jailer. But the representative, my position that I was running for, my name wasn't on the ballot. You had to write it in because, like I said, the Republican opposition challenged my validity, and I had to be removed from the ballot. So she's running unopposed. Everybody's running, so the turnout is not necessary. You would win by default. So why would you have all of this activity unless you either strongly supported Trump which doesn't matter in this ruby red county. I think the Republicans outnumber the Democrats by 3, maybe 4,000. So if every Republican came out and voted and every Democrat came out and voted, the Republicans would still outnumber the Democrats. And in every election going back to 2008, the Republicans have trounced their Democratic opponent by at least 4,000 to 5,000 points. So the turnout is not necessary if you want to get Trump in the office, especially in this district. So I'm just saying, this might be flipping a little bit. I wouldn't say it's going to flip to blue, but this might be flipping to purple, with what the turnout is out here. So just anyways, my comments, my beliefs, my thinking. And as you can see, I voted. So I wanted to get a real time, actual day of election feel of what was going on at the polling stations. And we do have some poll watchers out there watching the polls. And just for those people who want to keep spreading rumors and lies about election fraud and people voting, I went up to the booth. I had to give them my real ID driver's license in order to cast my ballot. The way the system is set up, and I asked them, if I cast my vote, came back an hour or so later and tried to give my ID again, the system would automatically see that I am trying to vote again and would flag. And it would pull my original ballot so that my first vote would not count anymore either. So for those people who talk about how, there's a lot of people going and voting, first you have to get yourself a real ID or a driver's license. And the way the Republicans have set this up in the past with having to have a real ID, that's your driver's license that's got the star on it. You have to get that ID now is not simply walking into the DMV and getting your picture snapped. No. You got to come with documentation. As a matter of fact, a passport is one of the pieces of documentation you have to provide, that you could provide to get the real ID. So let me tell you, if they have somehow faked that process, or somebody who is not a citizen has obtained a real ID, then that's the system you need to check. But once they got their real ID, the voting system does its job. The polling station does its job. You have to present your ID in order to vote. And if you don't have it, then you can't vote. So all this crap about dead people registers, hey, they must have their parents' ID or some real ID or driver's license that they're presenting going over there to get it. So that process, the real ID process, once they have that in hand, everything else is locked down. But the real ID process, that's the system that you need to project, that you need to protect, and that you need to police. How are they getting the real ID? Because once they got it, everything else, the rest of the fail safes work. It's how you get that real ID that needs to be checked. So nevertheless, that's my opinion. I voted. Get out and vote. If you haven't done so, it's imperative that you get out and vote today before the polls close. I think here in Kentucky it's 7:30, but get out and vote. Peace.